Welcome to Impact Duty. I'm your host, Manisha Dadlani Kripalani, bringing you empowering stories of friends and people I admire. Their voices have given me joy and the momentum to share their stories with you.
Sonya Vajifdar is an ethical influencer trying to spread small, positive, sustainable solutions for everyday life. Sonya is extremely passionate about the origins of ethically produced clothes and reviews products and brands from across the globe. Sonya Vajifdar, welcome to Impact Duty. How are you doing?
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm doing good. It's crazily hot in Bombay, but we're all surviving, drinking about 2 to 3 liters of water a day to keep ourselves going.
I know, I heard you have scorching temperatures over there. So I hope it eases out soon with the monsoon.
Yeah, we're all, I think, eagerly waiting the monsoons.
Yeah. And saying that, I've been eagerly waiting to talk to you because you're an ethical influencer and quite a unique one. I've been following you on Instagram and I love the content that you generate. So, taking us to being an ethical influencer, I'm going to ask you to tell us where your journey began and to tell us more about what this is all about.
So I think ethical influencer is just a broad way of putting it out there. When a lot of people ask me, what do you do? I still find it hard to explain. I think very, in a very basic way, what I try to do is get people to lead a more sustainable lifestyle by giving my example of what I'm actually doing. So it wasn't always like this. I was actually doing something completely opposite, like kind of ruining the planet more than helping it by making plastic raincoats. So I studied fashion and textile design in Milan for about 3 years. And after that, I came back to India and I made a designer raincoat, the first of its kind in India, which basically got picked up by Vogue and got snapped up, who asked me to make a collection. It got into stores. So I actually left my internship in Milan and continued with this new brand in Bombay, which soaring because no one had heard of designer raincoats here. Uh, and I expanded into raincoats for dogs, raincoats for kids. Yeah, the dog one actually did the best.
I'm sure.
Everyone's like, let make our dogs look cute while we take them for a walk as well in the rain. Um, but and I also after a few years realized that that's not really sustaining me monetarily to just do seasonal clothing. So I went into luxury design and I had a couture label, which was then retailing in like 15 to 16 stores worldwide and 15 to 16 online. I was doing shows internationally. And
Wow, Sonia.
yeah, that was another journey, but that came to a halt, or I would not say a halt, but it changed. 8 years ago, I started practicing Nichiren Buddhism, which focuses on you kind of create what you focuses on the law of cause and effect. Basically, you get what you get. And one day I was looking at my workroom and I was looking at the floor, particularly of the workroom. And it was filled with plastic. It was filled with waste fabric, which was all going to be thrown out at the end of the day. And I said, so much has changed in my life from practicing this philosophy in my personal life. And in my professional life, I'm not really changing anything. I'm kind of uh, not really adding any value to the planet by creating what I'm doing, even though I loved it. I still love creating. I still love designing. But I think overnight, I kind of changed my brand into a waste-free brand. So I picked up all the scraps of plastic. I picked up all the waste fabric. We started doing anything possible with the waste fabric, from making like flowers for embellishments with the fabric, from creating raincoats then out of used shower curtains or used bath mats, or making our sequins out of old Coke cans and Sprite cans, and like reusing Xerox, the X-ray filters that you get when you go for a bone or anything. So we got all the old X-ray sheets from hospitals, and we started punching those into sequins. And um, it was a lot of change. It was a slow change. Like, I'm really, really proud of those changes we made. Only because it just like proved to me how you can take creativity to a new level if you actually, look for things to do. And it doesn't mean you have to spoil the planet in the process. So
Exactly.
that was basically how I started. And then the more I practiced this life philosophy, I wouldn't say it's not a religion. It's not Buddhism, the religion. It's more about kind of groups of people all around the world practicing, and it's a word of mouth philosophy where there's no force to do anything. You do as much as you want when you want, and it's the main aim is that like we've not been put on this planet to suffer. We've been put here to be happy. So let's like make the most of it by making others happy as well. And
Beautiful.
and it's really changed things in my life. It's changed things in my professional life, and now it's changing things in the way I'm raising my son. I'm very, very cautious about what he hears, whether it's from like he has a ponytail, and everyone is like, "Oh, you little girl," and and I'm like, you know what? If anytime you want to cut it, you tell me, and if you don't want to cut it, that's also fine. All you need to tell people is like you like it, and that's the end of. There's no gender stereotype when it comes to, because you know how India is. It's quite like do it this way or do it that way, So even to the point of just telling him why we need to put off the tap when we brush our teeth, So small things like this, I feel are important at a young age, because then it's less work for you later on. And and we are also, starting to learn at an early age why you should kind of respect everything around you. So that's kind of the journey in short.
Wonderful. Wonderful. And Sonia, you told us how you embarked on your awareness. It was through your philosophy. But how did you get into Buddhism? As in, how did you get into your philosophy and your way of thinking and belief system?
So my best friend was practicing it for a year before that, and she kept on telling me, "Why don't you try? It's helped me. Why don't you try?" And I was like, I'm just not the type of person to do something monotonously every day. I'm not. I feel like anyway, like a 9 to 5 is not for me. So to practice and to the in the philosophy, you chant twice a day, and I was like, that's just it's not. I don't feel I'll have the time to do it. I don't feel I have the discipline to do it. And so she let up. Like she didn't keep on telling me. She told me once, twice, and that was it. And then, like a year later, I was at the peak of my career, and there was someone investing in my company, and something went wrong with the investment, and it came to like a crashing halt by the design company. And then what also happened was like my personal life was going through. It's always when you hit rock bottom, right, that you seek spirituality when there's no other option out there. So, and I didn't go back to my best friend for some reason. It was very mystical. I kind of was going through my phone list on WhatsApp, which is a very random thing to do. And under my aunt's name, the chant that you chant, it's the chant is Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. The chant was written under her name. And this is an aunt that I'm not in touch with, like extremely strange. I messaged her saying, "Hi, how are you? I want to, do you know, even I've heard about this chant." And he was like, "Why don't you come over and chat?" And I've gone to her place, complained about for around 2 hours about my life. I must have like really vented my heart out, and she heard me. quietly heard me, and she was like, "So I'll tell you what we do, the philosophy, and you can try it for a month, and it's up to you if you want to do it or not."
Uh-huh.
And I said, "Okay." I said, and she's like, "Oh, in our philosophy, we have a list of determinations that we write down that we want to see change in our life." So I've written down obviously the most outrageous determinations, expecting like my entire life to change.
Uh-huh.
And a month later, obviously, none of those determinations came true. So I went back to her and I said, I'm going to stop because I've done it twice a day. None of this has changed. She was like, "So stop. No one's
Yeah.
forced you to do anything. No one has told you to do it twice a day. You've done it from your own, your own intent. It was your own intention to do it." And I just couldn't stop. And then because something had changed, something had started changing. And about 2.5 months later, I remember I was in Canada with my sister. She had gone on a work trip. I was just accompanying her. And
Uh-huh.
we were in Zermatt. No, sorry, Zermatt in Switzerland. We were in, I can't remember the place, but it was beautiful. Like very,
Uh-huh.
very pleasant as soon as you open the curtains. And every day I'm
Right.
opening the curtains, seeing the same view. On the third day, I opened the curtains and suddenly everything looked fantastic. And I've realized that through the philosophy and that with me repeating that everything's going to be great, everything's going to be okay, I've finally switched in my head. And from that day, I kind of never looked back with the philosophy. So, I mean, a lot of changes, a lot has happened, a lot has changed. But I think it's just about kind of goes down to faith at the end of the day and how much you really want to believe. It could be any practice, right? It's just about faith and how much you actually trust the power of the universe to help you when things are not going your way. And instead of saying, this happened to me, saying it happened for me. But that's like taken a long time to even switch to that sort of thinking. Because I don't think we grow up conditioned with that sort of thinking. So somewhere down the line, it came to me, and that's another thing that I really, really make sure my child knows at a young age that you are going to get what you give. So let's be a little bit cautious about that.
Thank you. Thank you, Sonia. The reason I asked you to share a little bit more about your philosophy is because you're the second interviewee who's uh, following this philosophy. And the same thing, you have a hectic, a heavy lifestyle, and then something just switches and you find spirituality in whichever way, and it leads on to your next journey or opens your new doors in life for you. But taking us into the broader scenario, I'm going to go into climate change awareness and the current scenario in India. So we're going to take a look at India right now, and I'm going to ask you your opinion. Where do you think we are in terms of awareness, in terms of awareness on eco-friendly products, on sustainability, and our impact on the planet, with the Indian scenario in mind at the moment?
So, the good part about, if I'm looking at the positive part of it, because you can watch the news and get all the negatives you want. But if I'm
Right.
looking at the positive part of it, I feel like a lot of sustainable courses and workshops have started, which means educating the masses has started, which means awareness is getting stronger and faster. I know that in schools they also prefer now using recycled materials, and they're trying more and more to inculcate in kids about awareness about climate change and awareness about things that we never ever learned about. And I think brands, the amount of brands that are developing now, which are either, like you said, bamboo based, or focusing on plant a tree with a sale, or just focusing on gift a tree. Like I recently did a campaign with a brand who's just focusing on, instead of gifting chocolates or flowers, gift a tree and you get an e-certificate. And in the process, you're kind of helping trees for tribal, the trees for tigers, or these different causes. So I think awareness is, after COVID, awareness has taken a new high. I think everyone has had time to reflect in COVID. I don't know how many people are following it after COVID, but I know everyone
Oh,
had time to reflect on how beautiful suddenly India became without us being outside. you know.
Totally.
Yeah. So and like I have pictures from my balcony just downstairs, how like I could see clear blue skies, there's no noise, there's no traffic, there's birds all over the place. And like in a month of like being COVID free, it's all back again. But I think our planet kind of needed a rest, from us. So as much as we are, I think everyone who's aware is trying in their own way, whether it's switching to veganism, whether it's switching your products to eco-friendly products, whether it's buying less, whether it's learning to remend, reuse. Um, Everyone can do their step in their own ways. And like, I just feel it's very important for everyone to realize that like sustainability doesn't have to be a life change. It can
Right.
literally use what you have at home.
Right.
So your
Right.
lights when you leave a room, as simple as that. But I do think it's growing. It's slow growth. But
Uh-huh.
after COVID, it's encouraging to see the growth.
Lovely. And Sonia, do you think it's percolated down to the rural areas? Do you think it's just awareness at the tier one, tier two cities and urban life, or do you think it's gone down to
Sorry to cut you, but I feel like rural areas never really uh
what the
advanced.
problem?
Yeah, I don't think they advance to that point where they're using plastic in everything they do. So I feel they're
Exactly.
the ones reusing everything they have because they don't have the means to buy a lot. I think like you're not seeing them dump their clothes in land. Like their clothes are not the majority of the clothes being like dumped in the garbage, in the trash. You're seeing them even reuse their plastic bottles if they do have them. So I just don't feel they are the problem. I feel it's the city life people who are on the go fast, need things fast, need to be on the go, need everything at the faster the better. We are actually the problem. We are the ones uh are very well educated and we are still the problem. Um but as I said, it is everyone's own initiative of what they can do and what changes, and the most important changes start from the person's home, like each person's home. So if everyone makes that small change, we can see huge changes. And I feel like a lot of people go in the other way of saying, "Don't do this, don't do that," don't drink, scrap this. I think the whole part of like being aggressive about it is not
Right.
really. I mean, it's as simple as like if I tell you, I don't think you should do it. I don't think you should do it. Eventually, you're going to be like, why should I listen to this person? I'm going to do what I want to do. So, I think encouragement is and positivity in this factor, at least where sustainability is concerned, really goes a long way. And um, the less pushy you are, and the more show from your own life people want to follow. At least that's what I've seen from my page. Like, I feel like I give my own example, or I will say this is my experience of using a brand. And then it's up to that person. Like, I don't want it to be advertorial. I don't want it to be like, I'm doing this ad for this brand. That's not the point of it. And there are so many brands that are also greenwashing. So,
Yes.
so it's very careful. You have to be very careful with even promoting a brand. You need to kind of speak to them and ask them, what is your packaging? What are the ingredients you're using? Because you can get then backlash from people who are actually trying to make that conscious change. So, yeah, sorry, we were somewhere else and I drifted somewhere else.
Thank you. Thank you for that tangent because honestly, it took me to where I want to go with my next question. So, you've made the change. You've made the change in your life, and we've seen the significant change. Tell us more about Sonya Vajifdar as a creator or a brand of ethical clothing. Are you still creating clothing?
I'm not physically doing it right now. I do have pieces that I do sell from time to time, which I had created earlier. Um, to Dubai, actually, I could not do long distance designing with my tailors. And after I got married, I moved to Dubai for a year. And as much as I tried, long distance it does not work when you're working with manufacturing units, and I didn't want to spoil any relationships with my clients. So I kind of took a backseat, but that's actually what kind of led me to write for international sustainable magazines. And that's just before my blog started. And that was kind of my journey into everything else sustainable, because before that I only knew fashion. I had no experience with beauty or any of the other products that I'm talking about. And it's such a natural and organic way of actually going into this, because I spoke to one of the brands and she was like a shampoo brand. And she said, yeah, we use organic products, and why don't you try it? So she sent me some samples. She said, stop using all the other shampoos you use. And I tried it, and I felt my hair getting drier. Um, and I wouldn't see any lather, like it wasn't soapy, the normal shampoo.
Yes.
So I kept thinking, maybe I need to put more. What's happening? Is this not working for my hair? And then she told me, she was like, the lather is actually the chemicals. So if there's no lather, it means that there's less chemicals in the shampoo. Of course, you need something to make it last. Otherwise, it becomes like a kitchen shampoo, and that won't last longer. But it took me a month and a half, and it was actually like my hair went through a detox. So it became dry. It became strangely like thin, and then it went to thick, and it went to glowing, and it went to shiny. And I actually saw that gradual change in 1.5 months of not using any other hair care. I was using her shampoo and conditioner. And then she told her story, and she said, I developed this shampoo when I was pregnant, and I did not want to use any chemicals on my hair. And then I thought, why should people be using chemicals whether they're pregnant or not pregnant? Why are you damaging your body when you're not pregnant and taking so much care of yourself when you're pregnant? Or why do we take care of a newborn so much more with like no chemicals, less medicine? Everything is in this. Why are we doing this? Why are we not regularly taking care of our skin and hair? And it's such an interesting topic, right? Because we don't think of it in that way. Like I thought of it so much when I was pregnant. What am I putting on my skin? What am I eating? What is? And then as soon as I was done, even I was like, oh, it's okay because I'm not taking care of another baby anymore. But
Exactly.
but her shampoo, just that I needed to probably try it on myself to actually see the, and it's worked on my skin when I started using organic products. It's worked on my hair. It's even like, so this, what I'm wearing right now is a basic organic t-shirt. And the benefits that you would see of the fabric on your skin, we don't realize that clothes are going through the washing cycle. They're also being treated with chemicals. The whole process of being dying, they're being treated with chemicals. We're putting it on our skin. We have no knowledge of this, like, because no one's taught us any of this, right? So
Exactly.
it's thinking about going into who made your clothes, how have your clothes being made, and how are you going to treat your clothes. So again, going back to that whole thing of just like respecting everything. So even your clothes, if there's a small mend, are you going to throw it? Are you going to pass it down? Are you going, what exactly your action is going to be with that piece of clothing? It's just, it may be a really small action, but that one small action is a kind of a ripple effect for what happens to it after. So yeah, that was I'm not designing anymore, but actually I'm in talks with just yesterday I'm in talks with a person who has an organic and bamboo textile factory who wants to do like a kind of capsule collection that I designed for them. So I'm very open to that because I do have a lot of passion for designing and creating things.
Wonderful, Sonia. I'm looking forward to that as well. And Sonia, talking about how available products are, okay, in India, as in how available are they? Okay, so yes, we want to make the change. Yes, I want to make the change. Okay, now what's the next step? How available are these products to me?
So right now it's booming. It's booming. You get everything and anything. I mean, even just the exhibition we created the other day, we curated that in less than 1.5 months, and there were about 35 to 40 brands, and it's We've already started our September edit, and it's like brands just want to come on board. There are new brands like emerging every few days. I'm getting a mail saying I'm a new bag brand, I'm a new beauty brand. So I think the market is really moving in that direction. Um,
Mhm.
he said there is a very false sense of people comparing sustainable or organic clothing to be more expensive. This
Mhm.
t-shirt, uh, 500 rupees. So it's not
Okay.
expensive, you know.
At
It's
all. Thank you.
it, it's that very false sense of being like, oh, so I can't afford sustainable clothing because that part of sustainability is gone. It's become more available. People are getting fabric for. When I was designing, it was more expensive. I'll be honest about that. But now
Right.
it's very much more available in the market, and people are
Mhm.
using waste to make clothes. So they're taking your scrap. Like today, I put up a story of a brand called Dwitch who basically makes bags out of scrap jeans or denims,
Wow. Okay. Uh-huh.
they're doing really well because denim lasts a long time. So if you're
Right.
throwing away your old denims, they're just lying there, not biodegradable, lying in landfills for years and years. So they are actually
Right.
taking all those denims and making them into bags. So that kind of cuts out the fabric cost, which makes the products affordable then for everyone. So of course, you cannot compare it with luxury products because that's a whole other league. They are focusing on the brand and the marketing part of it. But I think it's very affordable and it's very
Mhm.
available.
Wonderful. And bringing us to, you just busted a myth for us right now, which is that, we all think that anything that's eco-conscious, eco-friendly, sustainably produced is rather expensive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And you just told us it's the opposite or not so anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. What's another myth regarding such products created that you'd like to bust? Or
So
anything on this field that you'd like
I
to
think
bust?
there are a few things that have always been said. Sometimes as ad gimmicks, marketing campaigns, I'm 100% sustainable. That's not possible. No one can
Mm,
be 100% sustainable. No, no beauty product, no clothing line, no person. Like unless you're
mhm,
gonna be living on the hills without wanting, anything in life, you're not 100%
mhm,
and I think even beauty products, when they say, 100% organic, you do need a little bit of a preservative to kind of keep the product, even for 3 months, for lifespan of three
right.
months, you need something. So that's one thing people should be aware of.
Uh-huh.
I think apart from that, the whole thing of like, I can't be sustainable because I have like, I need clothes for work, or I need clothes for, I need makeup. So
Uh-huh.
how can it be sustainable? But like we mentioned before, everything is available. There are
Mhm,
amazing vegan and organic makeup brands. There are amazing sustainable fashion clothing lines who are focusing on workwear.
mhm,
I just feel like uh, I the whole fact of being like I cannot shift or I cannot make a change is now more of a excuse rather than kind of it actually being able to be possible. Because
mhm,
sustainability can actually mean like clearing a bit of your cupboard, donating it to someone who would wear it instead of like
mhm,
hoarding, or like it can mean taking out the pieces you haven't worn for 5 years, either reusing them, restyling them, or remending them. There's so many ways that you can focus on being sustainable. It doesn't mean that one
yeah.
a wardrobe to an organic fashion wardrobe, right?
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
and even just passing on the message, like just passing on that, I'm buying instead of buying something else, I'm buying a plant for my house. It's just
Mm,
something as
mm,
small as that. Of course, a lot of people take huge steps, and like I really respect them. I'm not one of those who has been able to take huge steps to the fact that I've gone all out. I still live in a city. I still need my normal life. I still do use a car when I need to use a car.
right.
But I feel like just being also transparent and honest about the fact that I'm doing what I can, or anyone just doing what they can, and small steps can just make such a difference. It's eventually what you feel you're doing, and you feel good about doing that, basically.
Excellent. And you've already given me fodder for my next question, which was tips on small tips or small steps that we can take to live and love our planet a little bit more.
Yeah, I think go back to like the basics of actually plants, so it's not easy, right? Because everyone lives in a place where there's a different climate.
Right.
But
Mm-hmm.
small, like now I finally got, it's taken a while, but I finally got a chili and a tomato plant. I finally got a plant which is blooming finally, which is called shampoo ginger. It's a red
No.
plant which becomes
Ah,
into flower, which you can actually take. If you press it, natural shampoo comes out of it. So, but it's just that knowledge of plants. I never wanted, maybe didn't have the time or not the inclination also to learn about it. But small
right.
changes keep happening where you feel like, okay, now I want to know about this. Now I want to, eat something more natural. I want like to get dirty in mud. I want to feel that earth. The
Mm-hmm.
same like with my son, I feel like when you are kind of raising children, we kind of tend to go in the way. Just for example, his summer holidays this time, and I was like, what am I going
Right.
to do with him? Because 2.5-year-old, a lot of energy, right?
Right. Right.
So, but there's so many amazing people who are actually following this life um, of being more conscious, and I
Uh-huh.
someone who actually is called Eco Kids, a brand who taught him how to garden, who taught him how to plant. They planted their own mustard seeds, and which is now blooming. And like he was having a blast, and
I've
getting
seen
to
it working.
bargain. So I was like, it's a complete win-win because I want him to understand things about nature at a young age.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so there, I mean, and tips for us, for us being more sustainable at home, it's just about being more aware.
Mm-hmm.
Not wasting water, not wasting
Mm-hmm.
electricity, not wasting food. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
what our parents taught us, which we
Yes,
forgot along the way somehow, or we
totally.
didn't inculcate, or we didn't pass on whatever it was. Like
Mm-hmm.
I've heard my mom say it very often, put the lights off when you leave the room. But very often I forget and I leave the room
Yes,
and thought. Um,
yes.
and it's as simple as that. Like don't instead of using plastic plates, like going back to your roots, use stainless steel, use things that you know what India was known for. Let's put it in
Exactly.
that way. India is known to use
Exactly.
brass, to use like uh, things which are supposed to be reused. So we've come
Totally.
from that culture. It's just that we have
Mm-hmm.
been influenced by faster and easier methods, and we
Right.
happily taken them into our lives and use them. So even the art of like hand weaving and handloom and
Mm-hmm.
things which have, you know, been with us, with our culture for ages, they're coming back. All the big designers are using it in their clothes. So awareness is spreading. Everyone's trying to do their part. It's just about we can start so small. You just separate your dry
Mm-hmm.
and like something like that. It took me in my house a long time to convince everyone to do something like that. But
Uh-huh.
but it's about just doing as much as you can, I think, without putting pressure on anyone else to really, really change, or, without making anyone else feel uncomfortable in the bucket.
Thank you, Sonia. And taking a look at any brands that you would like to highlight or anything that you would like to highlight before we end our interview. Um, anything that you are using, anything that you get locally over there that you're using and that you would like to highlight?
I mean, there's so many. Like I said, like it's really, really at this point, the selection that you can get of organic beauty products is like off the mark. It's crazy. You can get so many. One that I use really often is What am I using right now? I'm just going to think what I'm using. Allure is one of them. Holistia is another a brand, and the good part about some of these brands is that they're very careful to tell you that you only need a small drop of the product, and that's enough to suffice your skin. So, for example, Holistia has this sunscreen which acts as a primer, a moisturizer, and an anti-aging all in one. So they're like, you don't have to wait. They're trying to also like bring the whole point of sustainability into one bottle. You don't have to waste money on buying all those four products. And then they actually show you that it should be almost half the size of a coin that you put into your hand. So it lasts you. It should last you 6 months, like one bottle.
Wow.
So, you don't have brands kind of telling you that they're like, finish this so you can buy the next one quickly. But sustainable brands actually make that effort to tell you, you use less so it lasts you more time. So yeah, and then my favorite makeup brand is Ruby Organics. They're beautiful. They have all the options possible. I don't think I can name my favorite clothes brand. There are too many. But Alter, it's this brand that I've been wearing recently, and it's perfect. So I've been living in their clothes right now.
Wow, Sonia, talking to you right now, I'm rather envious over here because I don't think I have that much accessibility to these kind of products. I mean, yes, we do have a lot of awareness and change. And I mean, I live in Switzerland. It's fairly good on their climate consciousness in general. However, the brands and the availability of products just seem pretty phenomenal on the Indian scenario. Can't wait to come there and access all of them. Wonderful. And Sonia, before I say goodbye to you, what would you like to see manifest in the near and maybe the far future in this field or otherwise?
I think for me, it's just great to see people not only trying to make a change, but then kind of spreading awareness about it. It's a topic that's not spoken about in a positive way. So I would really like to see people talking about more about what people are doing rather than how horribly things are going wrong with the climate. And just knowing that, there is hope, like we can make a change, we can solve this problem if we all act together, if we act, if we all kind of do just a small parts, like to make a change, it will happen. But that's what I would really like to see, that people being a little bit more positive about the state of our planet, because a lot of people are actually actively working on it.
Wonderful. Sonia, thank you for joining me on Impact Duty, and thank you for shining your light and your essence. It's been such a fab time talking to you.
So much for having me.
Take care, Sonia.
Take care.